Okay, so we're talking about kind of expansion and vision and growth. And we had a question come in from somebody who said, I saw the Let's Life Coach video with Oprah. What are the steps, or are there steps that I can take to discover my own truest, highest expression?
Yeah, I love that question. I've been thinking about it too. And it hit me last week as I was really deeply thinking about this. And the idea that I've been playing with is that it's not a question that has a finite answer, but the whole point is to ask the question again and again. Like in this moment, what is the truest, highest expression of self? And I think the answer changes. But it's like coaching. It's not that coaching, when you are coached, you say something out loud and you have an insight, and that insight is so powerful that finding it somehow changes the rest of your life forever. It can have an impact forever, sure. But it's more the practice of asking yourself these inquisitive, curious, powerful questions again and again in different circumstances, in different places, at different times. And so that to me is amazing. Like, so I don't think that there is a whole list of steps, as opposed to there's one consistent step. And that consistent step is to ask yourself that question as an inquiry. Rinse and repeat.
How does somebody make that a regular practice of being curious? I mean, it's who you are, John, right? It's part of your life. What if it's not part of someone's life? How can they make it a regular practice?
Yeah, I mean, I had a really funky day Sunday where I just felt like not good. And Moise was like, "You're doing your thing again. I'm just gonna let you have your day of funk, and feel good." She's like, give yourself a day or two. Like she's like, I know she's learned like not to like try to push me out of it. Just like you got to feel the feels of the pressure of everything, right? Feel it. In that sense, I think there's a way to be gentle with yourself too. Like what we talked about last week, like self love, self care, those kinds of things. Like where there's just an awareness. Like, yeah, if you're doing something hard, something you've never done before, you're gonna, if you're doing something worth doing, like in the sense of it's challenging, there's opportunity for failure. And even the idea of flow, like in order for us to experience flow, there has to be an opportunity for failure. That's amazing. That's like, that is so, it's so much, you can give yourself so much grace. So in that funky day, did I think to myself, you know, what's my truest highest expression? It's so hard. It's so hard. But like, that's the deal, is you have to create structures around it. You have to create ways to remind yourself to do that. So is it sticky notes? Is it vision recordings? Is it a vision board? Is it a reminder on your phone that pops up every hour? Is it designing relationship with people around you, that the people around you are also doing it too? So that, or like people around you say, hey, what's your truest highest expression right now? It's creating these structures and systems. And I think this is the real work. Like this is work of, we talk a lot about, and if you're trying to initiate flow, having like a routine, like a morning routine or a ritual to go through, or a series of steps or sequences that you do every single time. These are really valuable tools.
Structures and systems. So,
Structures and systems. I'm
yeah,
curious, what do you do, Raj? Because I mean, we've talked about our own different tools.
yeah. Um, for me, what really helped for it to stick was the structures and systems. So I have a reminder in the morning that pops up around about 7:30, but that's the first time I touch my phone as well, because phones are not allowed in the bedroom. They are plugged in the laundry room. So that's not the first thing we kind of pick up or see. So there is a question that I'll see when I pick up the phone, and it changes at different times. I know different season there is a different question, or might be an affirmation. You know, at the moment for me is I am strong and healed, because health is
Mm.
really important for me this year. So it's that reminder. Yeah, before I get out of bed, I will meditate. So I like to meditate for about 10 minutes. I do some breathing. I'm doing a new one at the minute because I'm into Ayurveda. So I'm doing empty bowl meditation, which
That's
is
cool.
just releasing and letting go.
That's
Um,
cool.
yeah, any overthinking or, starting to think about, oh, what's going to happen this day helps me to sit in that space. So meditation, I like to think about what is my intention for the day. I like to journal actually, but at the end of the day, I like to journal at night. So I've got journals everywhere, like hundreds of journals. I carry a journal in my bag, journaling, being curious about myself. I was talking to somebody last week and I was saying about it's becoming a student of yourself, isn't it? And then you
Hmm.
become an expert of yourself.
Hmm.
What do you think, John?
Little known, little known fact about me. I don't know if we talked about this yet, but the idea. When I was 13, I attended I don't know, some lecture, and in there, the person who was speaking said, "Hey, you should write. One thing is really useful is to keep a journal." So I did from the age of 13 to around the age of 20, for 7 years. I kept a journal. I wrote in that journal every day for at least 30 minutes.
Wow.
Like every day. I mean, I was every skip a day maybe. So I had this I had like 12. Those spiral bound notebooks that have like 200 sheets in them, 250 sheets, stuff like that. I had 12 of them.
Oh my
So then
God.
when I was 27, so I stopped. So met a Moise when we were 19, and I stopped because I realized I transferred all of the communication with the journals to a Moise, and it didn't feel the need to write in them as much. And I still kept one, but it was like maybe once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks, like whatever. But then our first child's being born. We're 27, and I'm looking at these things, thinking, you know what? I needed to be released. So I recycled them all. I
Wow.
recycled 12. I've read like 12,000 pages of journals. Like just poof. Like we told that might have been poof gone. I
Wow.
remember the moment when the recycling guy came. The recycling truck came by, and I was watching it. I remember very clearly watching this thing get, these journals get taken, and it was like a bucket of freedom, with like a little drop of regret.
Hmm.
And I think it needed to be released. I needed to write them in the moment and to put them down and to like go there. But then I think I also needed the freedom to be and to allow my past not to be tied to an object. And I was telling my daughter, who's now 15, this, and she now keeps journals too. She's like, "Dad, I can't believe you did this." I'm like, "Me neither. I can't believe you either." Yeah, Raj.
Why was it
And
important to release it, John?
she was being, it's like my daughter was being born, like, and then I was like, I don't even want to have to keep track of them, you know. I don't want to, in the back of my mind, think, okay, they're here or there or, because it was pretty, we're talking 15 to 20, 13 to 20 every day documentation of activities. It's not anything terrible or bad. It just was, I think it became a thing of, it was a structure in the moment for me to process what was going on. And there's this thing now too, I guess they call them burn books or burn journals. Have you heard of this?
No,
Kelowna
I've
was saying,
not.
yes, like in the car, she's saying that there's this thing where you can buy a journal and it has matches with it, and then you're supposed to write everything in it and then burn it,
Mm,
kind of thing.
that's quite cool.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, all of that to say, like, do I regret letting them go? Probably. Like I wish I'd been able to have the time to curate and pick out different things of it and like, truly curate it and like make like this huge, like I could make a book of that, like a big crazy document. But it's again, like going through all that, I don't know. It's a lot of work. I have other work to do.
Thank you for sharing that, John.
Yeah.
I don't have that many journals backdated or anything. I do. I release them on a every couple of years. So
Really, you recycle them as well?
yeah, yeah,
No
yeah,
kidding. I'm
yeah.
impressed. I don't know if I've met many people who recycle their journals.
Yeah.
Wow.
I did one time. I went back and read some things, and I didn't even recognize myself. And then there
Wow.
were some things that were really painful that I actually didn't really want to revisit. I'm like, that's not who I am now.
Right,
So
right,
I don't want to sit in sadness.
right. Yeah, that's the idea. You have to like that's where I was at. I was like, no, I gotta let this go.
Absolutely.